Another formula on your formula chart that we've studied is double angle formulas, and they are here. And if you're looking for an angle that is a double angle, you can use these formulas to help you. So we want to find the exact value here. I didn't write out those directions, I apologize. But we are given secant, and we need to remember our ratios. I like to turn things into sine, cosine, or tangent just because it's easier for me. But so let's start there. So the reciprocal of secant is cosine. So I'm going to say that cosine of theta equals the reciprocal of this, or negative 21 over 5 square roots of 21. Before we get started, we want to clean this up. So let's get rid of the radical on the denominator, and we get rid of a radical by multiplying it by itself. So we're going to multiply square root of 21 on the bottom. What we do to the bottom, we must do to the top, so that we're only multiplying by 1, because we don't want to change this value at all. And so when we do that, we end up with negative 21 times the square root of 21 over 5 times 21. I didn't multiply these out because I knew that this was going to cancel right here. And so we find that it is negative square root of 21 over 5. Now, if you go back, and this is on your unit or your chart as well, is right here, we find that cosine is x over r. So we know that this is x and this is r. And we also know that x has to be negative because r is never negative. All right, this is also important. This is telling us that cosecant, or we can think of it as sine of theta, is greater than 0. And where does that happen? So in quadrant 1, everything is positive. Remember this, all students take calculus memory thing that helps you. And so in quadrant 1, all is positive. In quadrant 2, only sine and its reciprocal cosecant are positive. In quadrant 3, tangent and its reciprocal are the only things positive. And in quadrant 4, cosine and its reciprocal are the only things that are positive. We know that it has to be in quadrant 1 or quadrant 2 because sine has to be positive. We know that secant is negative, and that's the reciprocal of cosine, so it can't be here because secant would be positive here, so it has to be in quadrant 2. That's going to help us know what sign we should have at the end. Okay, so next we need to find sine of 2 theta. Let's go ahead and look at that formula on the formula chart. It's right here, sine of 2 theta. This is a nice one because we just have to pick one. So 2 sine A cosine A. So when we're looking for sine of 2 theta, the formula for that, straight off of our formula chart, is 2 sine of theta times cosine of theta. Now, in order to find sine, we need y. All right, we have cosine. It's right here. And we can just plug that in. But we need to find sine, therefore we need to find the y value. So how do we find the y? Well, Pythagorean theorem. So x squared plus y squared equals r squared. And so we know that x squared is 21. And y squared we don't know, but we do know r, so plus y squared, and r squared is 25. So we can clean this up and subtract 21 from both sides, and we get that y squared equals 4, or y equals 2. So sine is y over r, so y is 2, and r is 5. And then don't forget to bring this 2 down. And cosine we have right here. So that's negative square root of 21 over 5. And so now we just need to multiply this all together. And so 2 times 2 is 4. Square roots of 21. Don't forget our negative there. And on the denominator, this is a 1 if you need to see it, which 1 times anything is itself. So we end up just 5 times 5, which is 25. If we could reduce the 4 and the 25, we would want to, but we can't. So we could say that sine of 2 theta is equal to negative 4 square roots of 21 over 25.